Howdy, and welcome back to Disco Elysium of the Wickedstorm Gaming. Last episode, we met a bunch of racist giants, so let's try fighting one.
We saw.
Push him! Ow.
That is right. You should leave the stage of history with dignity by inviting the other races to a great world war. Bring your troops to the Simonine Islands and to Boogie Street, and we will pulverize you. When you are gone, we will build a museum for you. The walls will be lined with bottles of Al Ghul, your beloved beverage. Inside, we will store the odes to homosexuality you call art, and your microcephalic skulls.
Why do I have such a high chance to knock him the fuck out?
I am not the first line of defense. I am the last.
Okay.
In addition, these so-called Hardy Boys are an effeminate clique of bodybuilders. Their company is spiritually degrading.
Oh, finally we agree on something.
The Hardy manlets are on the pay of the company. I answer to the union alone. And I do this out of race heroism. Finance is an alien concept to the Simonese.
Say alien weird.
Now leave me be. I must luxuriate in the company of my woman.
This seems like a dumb thing to show him. Hey, see this mug?
Does not so much as glance at the object.
Stop showing me your pathetic cup. I have no interest in it.
Why am I showing people this cup?
Does he strike you as the kind of man who puts mugs into trash?
I mean, if they're broken, doesn't everybody?
Racists are generally not very good examples of their race.
He gestures toward the lorryman down the street.
I am not like them. I am craniometric perfection. I have taken the trouble to permanently draw a phrenologic grid on my skull and features. This should dispel any doubt.
It's a fucking Van Gogh painting.
True, that is a noble cranium, but you got a hard noggin yourself.
You exhibit forward projection of the jaw, indicative of schizophrenia and sexual inaccountability. From a purely aesthetic standpoint, the dimple in your jaw makes you look like a baby. This is not craniometry, just an observation.
Okay. What else?
It is impossible to see any more of your bone structure. It is covered in the ravages of Al Ghul. From what remain of your features, I can see fleshy lips, baldness of the head, and long arms relative.
Looks like I got pretty thick hair. Massive forehead, but pretty thick hair.
This leads me to conclude
Good experience.
you are not a police officer. You are a common criminal. An offspring of murderers and sailors from Sur-la-Clé and Vesper, and possibly even the degenerate sheep herders of Ubi.
What the fuck is wrong with the sheep herders?
Your racial heritage is
The hell do sheep herders do?
uninteresting. It is the same as all Rivasholians. Your parents and their parents made the decision to reproduce while under the influence of Al Ghul. That is the only reason you are here.
A lot of people are born because of drunken decisions.
He's right there. It's almost impossible to get it on unless you're both drunk. It's too scary when people are sober.
I don't know. That 72's looking pretty good. I can't talk to an unconscious man, though, so.
White or not has got little to do with this. The race enigma runs much deeper than that.
Okay.
There must be some friction there. He's keeping it well hidden.
still serve them.
Mr. Clare is a man of vision and means. He has the will to confront polycultural capital, something your race, naivistic communists, never did.
I don't think communist is a race.
Also, to serve is noble. It takes discipline. Your petulant individualism has only contributed to your race failure.
My
It is
jam is a
lax
mysterious
and
fourth thing.
Jam. Individualism.
Soup.
You have gotten these ideas from degenerate youth culture, have you not?
Ooh, rock and roll.
You have picked them up from rock and roll songs?
Rock and roll star and a rebel. Your youth culture does not affect my thinking. I've got it for disco, actually. It's in the name.
Offshoots of the Seminoles people invented disco while having sex under the influence of cocaine. It is a shame upon my race. But what is done is done.
So rock stars.
I am not surprised you enjoy it so much. This has happened to many of the side products of the inevitable cultural victory of the Seminoles race.
Basically that, I
What
don't
you
care.
need is to come to terms with extinction and never getting that dead body down from the tree.
Knock him the fuck out. He's so advanced! Oh, there he goes.
Just like that, instinct took over.
I don't like that this
Solid
froze.
strike straight into his
This is a dream, isn't it?
into the cartilage. You could swear you felt the soft palate break. The man is reeling, gasping for air. Time stands still around you. In the distance, the sounds of the harbor are falling silent. All you hear is a small gurgling sound as a trickle of blood appears on the man's lip.
Back up. There's no way in hell I can do that. What should I do? You gotta do the spin kick, but what should
Don't
we
wait.
do?
You've only got a millisecond. He's that
Okay.
fighting pose. Watch out.
Do the spin kick! There's no way in hell. No way in hell. What the fuck? I did full splits midair.
The man lands with a dull thump, like a broken down puppet of muscle.
Disco Inferno!
For a moment, he still tries to keep his head up, dazed eyes looking at you with unimaginable surprise. To your left is the button.
Well, it's gotta be Disco Inferno, or the end has begun. Disco Inferno.
As you slam your fist on the button, the man collapses entirely, his head rolling to the side.
Looks like you're the new measurehead now.
I don't want you, you traitorous bitch.
Her voice is surprisingly calm.
Yeah, it's because she didn't actually give a shit. She was just... She's one of those bitches that sucks up to the biggest fucker around.
No one is the new measurehead. Let's go before he gets up.
Goodest of the good cops. Yay, I got Kim to trust me. That was a mistake. We just steal this real quick. Lovely. Hey, how you doing, buddy boy? You alright down there? Let me just slowly walk around your corpse.
The man is still knocked out. He breathes slowly and steadily.
You know, now this white part on his picture looks like a neck brace.
It'll take a few moments for him to recover.
We should probably leave. What do you say we get the fuck out of here? Before he gains his senses and decides to murder my ass. But that opens. Okay. Every worker remember the board written on the flyers. It's a Dewey typewriter. My name is on the back. Cool. Is that going to be important information at some point? Look to be locked. Sheen on. Oh, it looks Looks almost sentient. We should probably not have any. Postcard. Take it. We steal everything, Kim. If it ain't nailed down, we steal. Take their drugs. Take... Fuck yeah, sunglasses. I was just saying I don't got any sunglasses. Clothes. -1 drama. But I'm very dramatic. We also got a postcard. A little more decade. Bank is fully renovated. The hillsides are lush with gardens, and residents own and parked a small airship by a fountain. Yeah, the airships are indeed blimps. Cool beans. The hell is that noise? Book.
An imposing combination of a punch clock and a payphone is looking down at you from the wall. A note on the side says, "Tokens unavailable due to strike. Use change."
I will not. Use the interactive button to inspect the book. I don't remember where that is. Interact.
The
There it
front
is.
of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Friesel. From the sides of his head, a pair of white antlers spread to the corners of the cover.
Why antlers?
Because white antlers are one of the symbols of communism. They represent a society in accord with the natural world and, at the same time, above it. A shameful way to treat a former king. Even one as underwhelming as Friesel. Because Friesel was incompetent, foolish, and cruel. In short, the embodiment of everything the communards wished to overthrow. It's satire, you see. To your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures to direct your attention. Just column after column of closely set text, interrupted occasionally by little doodles in black and white.
Oh, no picture
After
book.
rifling the pages with your thumb several times, you return to the table of contents. The magazine is divided into several sections. International developments, Kunst und Kultur, and local concerns. Just inside the cover, there's also an editor's note. Comrade, as you know, this journal takes its name from Mazov's immortal expression, Du cristal à la fumée. This was his way of describing the way the rigid, crystalline structures of capitalist ideology turn to smoke under communism. But, like the structures of capitalist ideology, we too are at risk of going à la fumée. Unlike many publications which are content to spoon-feed their readers reassuring drivel, La Fumée is committed to telling the radical truth, even when that truth may drive away potential subscribers. So please, if you value our radical Mazovian perspective on contemporary politics, culture, and international affairs, please consider subscribing today. Yours in struggle, the editors.
What do you expect? It was laying around the office of the Debarders Union. They're probably bankrolling the thing.
Yeah, fair.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
These are probably the only ones that are worth a damn.
Unsurprisingly, much of this section is taken up with articles declaring unqualified support for the dock workers' strike. You skim the headlines. Paint the harbor red and white. Martinez tames the wild pines. A city in revolt. First we take Martinez, then we take La Delta. Finally, there's a brief article by the writer, G. Martin, accusing the owner of the Capeside apartments of illegally attempting to evict certain communist tenants simply for not having paid their rent.
I don't know.
The eternal problem, according to G. Martin, is that under capitalism, the worker is rendered incapable of perceiving their own agency or lack thereof. Thus, they tend to experience their own oppression as though it were happening to somebody else. Is that true? Have you felt estranged from your own self recently?
I have no idea who I even am.
You flip back
I don't
to
even know
the
my
front
fucking
of the
name yet.
magazine. The
You
table
might be
of
Harry.
contents unfolds before you.
Could be Harry. I don't feel much like a Potter, though.
This section includes a long, tedious critique of the latest round of free trade negotiations between the EPIS nations and the Free State of Seminine.
This feels like world-building fluff.
You also skip over an article about heavy fuel oil smuggling along the Messina border, something about bear wrestling in Samara, book riots in Yugograd. Face it, you really aren't interested in foreign affairs.
Nah.
You're not even sure where most of these countries are.
I don't even know. They didn't recognize any of those names.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. It
Goody,
takes a
goody.
moment, but gradually it dawns on you that Kunst und Kultur must mean arts and culture.
Ah.
As you leaf through this section, you come across several reviews of recent radio plays, as well as a brief artist spotlight featuring a local artist identified only as CS.
Really?
The main feature, though, is a long essay titled Tip Top Tournée, a critical Mazovian perspective. This so-called artist spotlight is really just a brief Q&A, made all the briefer by the subject's evident hostility to her interviewer. That certainly sounds like a certain delinquent youth who likes to harass. You flip back to the front of the magazine.
Oop.
The table of contents unfolds before you. It takes a moment as you leaf through. The main feature, though, is a long essay titled Tip Top Tournée. The actual article is surprisingly light on details,
You mean to
but
click out of that?
after skimming a page or two, you gather that it has something to do with motor carriage racing.
Hey, Kim, you want to go race your
If
fucking
you
car?
don't follow it, you only ever hear about the ludicrous sponsorships and obscene death toll.
Never mind, Kim. Let's not do it.
You think you're settling in for a relaxing recap of the most recent season, maybe sprinkled with some nice anecdotes. Instead, you find yourself skimming a 10,000-word feature about all the politically problematic aspects of Tip Top Tournée.
The fucking car
Where to
race.
even start? For one, there's the crass commercialism of its sponsorships, and then there's the practically criminal emphasis on deadly motor crashes. Under capitalism, the article says, every pursuit has its price. Every pleasure, even one as elemental as the joy of racing others around a track, is reduced to an advertising opportunity.
I mean, how is you supposed to pay for your car?
Thus, the so-called tournée becomes a competition between increasingly meaningless
I doubt they get a
brand
portion
signifiers.
of ticket
Your
sales.
discount laundry detergent racing against a pack of Astra cigarettes, or even a fritter. And that precisely is what's problematic about it. Were it not for the promise of random, spectacular violence, audiences would quickly lose interest. At the end of the day, it's the destruction of these 750,000 real races that you're really watching for.
Really, I'm just in it for the violence. Pretty sure I'm just in it for a race. I never really got like NASCAR and stuff. I don't know. Like I said, I never really got into NASCAR. I remember when I was a little kid, I went over to my friend's house. He's like, "Oh, we're watching the NASCAR race, so I can't do anything tonight." I'm like, "Oh, okay, like cool. Like I'll see you in like an hour or something." And he's like, "Oh no, it lasts for like 6 or 8 hours." Like what the fuck? In a circle. Okay. Pretty sure like for a race. Yeah, I really am for the
You see,
violence.
one cannot avoid the conclusion that Tip Top Tournée is simply the apotheosis of spectacular entertainment under capitalism.
No, to be fair, if you're just in like the NASCAR for the crashes and stuff, like just watch a destruction derby. They get to the point much faster. It's much more efficient. Digital Tip-Top 20 is actually an organistic ritual of capitalist destruction. I had no idea.
Oh, come on. Can this article read your mind?
It seems to think so.
A certain kind of young man reads 1 or 2 books and suddenly thinks he understands the secret structures of reality.
I mean, I'm sure there are certain people who definitely
If I had
watch
to
hoping
wager,
for a
I'd
crash.
say they've never even seen the inside of a motor, much less a motor race. I take whatever they write with a large grain of salt.
I don't know if they make grains that big.
You flip back to the front of the magazine.
Yeah, but this magazine sucks, Kim. Anyway, for now, like it if you liked it, subscribe if you want, share it if you can, and do what you want. Check out the Patreon on Sport channel, and I'll see you next time. Have fun. Like, if you watch NASCAR, like, tell me why you like it in the comments. I'm honestly curious.